Hello and welcome to this week's Facebook Live. How are you? If you're watching the replay, thank you very much for watching the replay. And if you're joining us live, it's wonderful to have you. My name's Craig and I'm from mansioningles.com. And with me again, I'm happy to say, is my good friend Lynne from Put It Like This. How are you, Lynne?
Hi, Craig. I'm fine. I'm a little bit husky today, so I hope everybody can understand me.
Have you been shouting at anyone? Is that why your voice is strange?
No, I don't shout at people. I'm very nice to my students. No, I think it's the air conditioning, I think. So I'm a little bit husky, but it's okay.
Yeah. You haven't been shouting to your online students. Lynne's website, Put It Like This. Lynne is a personal teacher. So if you would like to have classes with Lynne, then we'll give you more details at the end of this Facebook Live. And if you'd like to listen to a podcast, we have a podcast called Aprender Inglés con Reza y Craig. It's aimed at Spanish speakers, and you're welcome to go and listen completely free over at inglespodcast.com. Lynne, what are we speaking about today?
Oh, we're speaking about a lovely topic today. It's called gadgets. And I'm sure that lots of people won't know the vocabulary for half of this lesson. So I think it's going to be new vocabulary for lots of people.
Well, actually, let's start with vocabulary, because gadget, device, and appliance are three nouns that could be confused. Is there any difference between them?
Yes, there is. There is. So, I mean, you often hear, the thing is, there's a big area where they're interchangeable. So you'll hear native speakers using them in many situations, and you think it sounds the same. There is a little difference. So basically, I'm going to start from the back there, from appliance, because appliance is usually something that's like electrical, and it's usually for domestic or household use. So, for example, a toaster is an appliance, or a sandwich maker is an appliance, or a mixer or a blender. They would be appliances. And then we've got device, and device is usually used for mechanical things, so things that are not electric, or they're used for techie things. So things now that go with the internet, with the mobile phones, any little sort of add-on things with Bluetooth, they're often called devices, And then the lovely word, which I love, is gadget. But it's a bit difficult to pronounce, isn't it? Because it's got that j in the middle. Gadget. And gadget means a device. It can also mean an appliance, right? So it's something that helps you do something more easily. But we often use the word gadget when we don't know the name for the thing. So like appliance, we know, for example, it's a toaster. But sometimes we have things and we don't really know the real name for them. And if we don't know the real name for them, we often call them gadgets. That's one idea. And then there's another idea behind the word gadget. And that is that sometimes if many people think that the device or the appliance is not very useful, then they talk about it as being a gadget. And the idea there is that it's not really necessary. It's a little bit gimmicky. It's a bit over the top.
Also, maybe older people like our parents who are not used to technology might talk about gadgets in an annoying way, like, oh, this stupid gadget never works, and I don't understand this stupid gadget. So it's often used in a negative way to describe some complicated piece of technology. Just want to say a quick hello to people. We're being joined, Lynne, by people from all over the world. Hema's here from Madrid. Hi, Hema.
Hi.
Olivia is with us. Claudia, hello, welcome. And Coque from, I don't know where Coque is from. Are you based in Spain, Coque, or abroad? Katia from Costa Rica. Beautiful, beautiful Costa Rica. And Celeste is with us. Rafael from Honduras. And Sindo from Alicante. And Myrta just joined from Argentina. And Eric has just joined. From we don't know. But it's wonderful to have you all with us. And again, if you're watching the replay, thank you for spending your time with us. So yeah, Lynne's just explained the difference between these words, and what we'd like to do is to show you some gadgets that we have at home and do a negative positive. So the first gadgets we're going to talk about are ones that are really useful, and then ones that are maybe a little bit disappointing. But let's look at some vocabulary first, because I just said a gadget, a device, an appliance can be useful. So that's one adjective we can use to describe something. Do you know the opposite of useful? What's the negative? What's the opposite to useful? If a gadget or a device has no use, what do we say? Any idea?
Put it in the chat box if you know.
What's the opposite of useful? Oh, this device is really, really useful, but unfortunately, this one doesn't work. Do we have any answers, Lynne?
At the moment, I'm just seeing that we're getting more people from Guatemala and from Nicaragua, from Huelva in Spain, but nobody's put the answer up yet. Or maybe.
Oh, well, we'll tell you. The opposite of useful is useless. So that's the negative adjective. Lynne, what other vocabulary can we use to describe gadgets, devices, appliances?
Well, we often, when something is really useful, we have another word for it, and we say it's really handy. Handy, like the word hand, yeah. So you say it's handy, yeah.
You speak German, don't you? Isn't that German for mobile phone?
That's right. In Germany, they say handy is a mobile phone, but not in Britain. Yeah, in Britain, handy just means that it's like useful. It's very, very useful.
And mobile phones are handy. They're very handy.
Yeah, they are very handy. Another one that's a bit more formal, you could say, is labor saving. Labor saving. And that means that it saves you a lot of work. And obviously, a lot of devices and appliances are labor saving. My biggest labor saving appliance is my washing machine, obviously. I think everybody's washing machine is a labor saving device. If you've ever tried to wash everything by hand, which is not very nice.
You know, we've had so many appliances break this year. It's just been a year of bad luck with appliances. Our washing machine broke at the beginning of the year. Today, our dishwasher broke. We have a small dishwasher that's broken. We had the part of the oven break. So we've had 4 or 5 different appliances break this year. It's been really, really bad luck.
But that's often because you bought them all at the same time. And then what did they call that? They call that programmed obsolescence, when everything is programmed to fail, and so you always have like a really expensive year often. I heard
that. Is that a theory or is that fact, that now they build devices and appliances that break after so many years?
I think for some things it was definitely a fact, but obviously manufacturers don't want to admit it. But I think it was proven. I think for printers, I don't know if you've had that problem with printers, that your printer from your computer doesn't last very long.
Well, actually, I don't know if that's true, because I think they make the money from the ink from the printer. It's a bit like razor blades. It's not the actual razor that's expensive. The blades are really expensive that you need, and the ink for the printer is where the money is.
That's true, but I've had 3 printers, and they've all broken down. And somebody, it says on the internet, I don't know if we can believe it, but it says on the internet when I was looking for fixes for them, that after a certain number of pages, they start to have faults in their device. So you get computer faults. And that is really programmed obsolescence, because it's been programmed to fail after a certain time. Yeah.
Before we continue with some more vocabulary, one thing I'd like to say is that towards the end, we're going to give you a link to join us live on Facebook if you want to. So we'll ask you some questions at the end about gadgets, your devices, and we'd love you to come in with us and speak with us and practice your English. It's a great opportunity to practice a little and say hello. So we'll give you more information about that later. What else do we have? So we've had labor saving, handy, useless, and useful. Up to date is, I think, self-explanatory. With technology, it's constantly changing, and the mobile phone you bought 4 or 5 years ago is now old. If you buy one today, it's a new model. We say it's up to date. Okay, it's
the opposite. The opposite there is it's a similar word, but we say out of date. So your old mobile phone is out of date, and your new one is up to date.
Things go out of date very quickly these days.
They do. Okay, another word.
Let's try this one. User-friendly. What's that, Lynn?
That means that it's really easy. You are the user, right? So if something isn't very complicated and you don't need big instruction manuals, then it's very user-friendly because it's friendly towards the user. Yeah, I like that one. And we usually say things are user-friendly or not very user-friendly.
There's a comment here from Moni, who said after 3 or 5 years, appliances and devices are not working. I would use present simple with that more. I would say don't work. Okay, because if they're not working, maybe they're not working now, but you're speaking about something that's usually true. So it's a fact that isn't necessarily at the moment. So I'd use present simple. So devices, they don't work, or they stop working, you could say as well. They stop working.
That's right.
Okay, go back to
one more. Do you know
versatile.
The word?
Versatile.
I'll let you do that one.
Versatile is something that I am definitely not. If a person is versatile, they can do many different things. Like they're really good at cooking. They can take fantastic photographs. They're really good drivers. They can sing. So if you're versatile, you can do many different things. And if a gadget or a device or an appliance is versatile, it's exactly the same. It can do many different jobs for you. So, for example, a mobile phone is a versatile device because it's a calculator, it's a camera, you can connect to the internet, it does many, many things. So it's a really versatile device.
I like that word, it's nice, yeah. I thought of, actually, while you were speaking, Craig, I know we didn't plan it, but I thought of 2 very informal words, because the words that we've got there are correct words. They're used, you can write them. You could write them in an essay if you're writing an essay. But in colloquial English, when we speak about gadgets and devices, I thought today, just before we came on, that I talk about 2 things. I say, this thing, this gadget, this device is a godsend. Do you know that word?
A godsend, yes.
And we mean that it's been sent from heaven and it's just wonderful and I can't do without it. Called a godsend. Do you use that word?
I might say lifesaver.
A lifesaver. There's another one. Yeah.
A life-saving device.
Yeah.
In the summer, and we'll speak about this a bit later, a fan, ventilador, a fan is a life-saving device if you live in Valencia in August. So definitely. Although sometimes we can't think of names for gadgets or devices. And there are some words that are quite funny that we can use to describe something that we don't know the name of. For example, how would you pronounce this, Lynn?
A thingy-majig. A thingy-majig. Now, even though it's got the thingamajig, I actually say thingamejig. I don't know about you, Craig. But it's something that I have never seen written. I've never seen that word written before in my life. I think it exists in the dictionary because we found it. A thingamajig. And I love that. That's very colloquial.
Can you pass me the thingamajig over there?
The thingamajig. And sometimes for short, you can just say, that thingy over there. That thingy. Thingamajig.
Because you probably know the word thing, which is cosa. So thingy is cortito.
Cosita.
And thingamajig. And there's another word which is quite similar. What's its name? Now, if you break this long word up into words that you can identify, you've got what's its name. 3 words pushed together. What's its name?
It's kind of like a question, but they've made it into a noun, haven't they? Yeah.
And you can also use this for people. You can say, "Oh, yesterday I saw what's his name in the street, the neighbor. What's his name or what's her name?" And it kind of sounds like one word when you say it quickly together.
Yeah.
So what's its name?
And an alternative to that one is what's it called? What's it called? What's it called?
Yeah.
And we say it really quickly together as if it's one word. In actual fact, it's a chunk of language. Yeah.
So thingamajig.
It's quite informal, aren't they? Those last 3, thingamajig, what's its name? You don't really see those things written. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You probably maybe in dialogue if you're writing dialogue, but usually it's spoken English, not written English.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
So we're going to look at some gadgets and devices now with you. But before we do that, there's a very common expression we use when we're speaking about gadgets and devices, and we're describing what it's used for. So you could say it's a thingamajig or a thingy or a thing you use for doing something. Be careful of those prepositions, because with preposition for, if you use a verb, it would be a gerund, an ing verb. For example, it's a thing you use for cleaning the floor. And with the to, it's probably going to be the infinitive of the verb. So it's a thing you use to clean the floor. So shall we jump in and do this, Lynn? What do you think? I think
so. So we have to explain to everybody what we've done is Craig and me this week, we've been thinking of our top 5 gadgets that we love. We call these our can't do without, or our must-haves. Yeah, these gadgets that we simply can't do without. And I loved thinking of these. And then I actually realized that I have lots of gadgets in the house. And not that I know more that are useless.
Well, I've seen your list, Lynn, and I'm very interested for you to explain 1 or 2 of them that I don't know what they're used for. So hopefully you'll hear us practicing the vocabulary as we're describing these gadgets, and then maybe you can come in with us and describe some gadgets that you use, your favorite ones. So let's begin with gadgets we can't do without, can't live without, and we must have them. Shall I start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so we'll do this alternately. So the first one I have is sitting right in front of me. I'll show it to you. And my air conditioning, that's another thing that broke. I was telling Lynn before we connected that I've had so many things that have broken this year. My air conditioning broke on the 10th of August. And I've been without air conditioning since the 10th of August. One thing I cannot do without is my USB fan that sits in front of my desk. There's another fan there. Maybe you can see. No, it's there. Maybe you can see it. So I've got one fan behind me. I've got one fan in my face because it's really, really hot now. And the traffic's noisy. So the windows are closed. The doors are closed. So there's no traffic noise from the streets while we're recording. And obviously I need a fan, otherwise I would die from the heat here.
That's going to be a very expensive year for you, isn't it? It's going to be a really expensive year.
Yes, new air conditioning. Yeah, we've had it for 16 years, and yeah, a new air conditioning is going to be expensive. So yeah, my first gadget that I can't do without at the moment is a USB fan. What's yours, Lynn?
Why do you like it? Because it's USB. You
Because,
don't put it into your phone, do you?
Well, no, because I plug it into the USB port in the computer for power, but then I can take off the cable and I can walk around the flat.
Okay, so it like charges up with it.
It charges up, and then if I'm eating, I'll just put that on the table, or if I go into the other room, I take it with me. So I've always got this is my biggest fan. This is my biggest fan. It's not big, It's not big, but it's my biggest fan. I love it because it keeps me cool and not sweating in August.
And you are a fan of your USB fan.
I'm a big fan of my fan. Okay, you're up, Lee.
Okay,
Lee,
right.
Lynn, sorry. You're up, Lynn.
My must-have for everything is, and I have two to show you, is my Bluetooth portable speaker. And I have this one, which is a bit ugly, but it's waterproof. So this one goes in the shower.
For the shower.
And I can plug it onto the shower and it doesn't matter if it gets wet, you see.
Fantastic. What do you listen to in the shower? Music or podcasts?
All sorts of things. Well, both. Not really podcasts, not podcasts. I listen to podcasts in the car and in the kitchen. And for the kitchen, I have a very smart. Don't you think that looks smart?
That's lovely.
Golden. Yeah. And that's my Bluetooth speaker. And this one is very powerful. So when I'm cooking, I'm in the kitchen listening to Ingles podcast. Among many others. Yeah. And this one, sometimes I actually I used to take it in the car with me to connect to my mobile phone. But now, last year, I got another car and now I've got my radio in my car has got Bluetooth. So now I don't need that in the car. Yeah.
Can I ask you something about things? Can I ask you something about the shower?
Yeah.
Speaker. Do you listen to Wet, Wet, Wet in the shower with that one?
Craig, that's a very bad joke. I'm sure that most of the people who are watching us you have never heard of Wet, Wet, Wet. You're showing your age. This is a group, everybody, that Craig obviously is a big fan of.
But everybody knows Wet, Wet, Wet. I'm sure Hammer remembers Wet, Wet, Wet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, number 2 for me. Let me have a look. What number 2 for me is? Oh, yes, of course. I have it here. What's this? Yeah, it's got to be, hasn't it? The mobile phone is a must-have for me because we said at the beginning, it does so many different things. It's so versatile. And I use it for connecting to the internet, answering email, calculator. There's lots of different apps I use every day. And it's usually with me all the time. And of course, you can phone people with it. Some people forget that you can actually call people with the mobile phone. And I don't think I could easily do without it. So that's number 2 for me, the mobile phone.
I think everybody is hooked on the mobile phone. When the mobile phones first came out, I'm so old that I can remember. And when I was at work, I was a big resistor. I didn't want a mobile phone. I didn't want my boss to be able to call me outside work hours. At the beginning, the mobile phones were just for telephoning. And I really resisted. I didn't want a mobile phone at all. But I have to say, I mean, now, especially with smartphones, I think the invention of the smartphone has been the game changer. Does everybody know that word? Game changer. That means something that has changed the whole scene. Yeah. And we had a mobile phone originally was just like a normal phone. So it wasn't such a big difference. But when we got smartphones and we could connect to the internet and we could listen to the radio and we could listen to podcasts and do all those other things with the apps, then that was a real game changer. It changed the world, changed the whole way we live. Yeah. And
you could also use game changer as an adjective. You can say it's game changing technology or it's a game changing device as well.
Yeah. I knew we would have lots of words with this program. This is a huge amount of vocabulary. Okay, so my second one, do you know what this is? This is my egg pricker.
No, this is what I wanted to ask you. What is an egg pricker? I know what an egg is.
This is my egg pricker. Unfortunately, I didn't bring an egg in, right? But I don't know if you can see. There's you can't really see there. No, you can't see. But here in the middle, there's a hole. And this bit has got a little spring. And you can see you press it down. So you sit the egg on the top. And then you push it down. And then out of this hole comes a little needle. And it puts a hole through the egg, right? And then when you boil your eggs, right, then they don't crack. You know, sometimes when you boil your eggs and they crack, and then you've got white and yellow and it's a right mess.
Yes.
So this is a guarantee that your eggs will never crack.
Is that because the pressure is equal inside to outside?
I think so, yeah. And I think that, and also where if you want to hard boil eggs, so if you're using your eggs for a salad, for example, I always find that this makes them much easier to peel afterwards when you peel your eggs. Now, this thing, I discovered it when I lived in Germany. Everybody in Germany has an egg pricker. And I brought this from Germany all the way to Spain because I don't think they sell them here.
I've never seen that one before. Do you remember the name in German for an egg pricker?
Oh, no, I have no idea. It's one of those things. It's like, have you got the thingy to prick the egg? No? I'm sure that in German, there probably is a word in German for it, but I really don't know. No?
It looks very handy. My grandmother told me that if you put salt in the water, the salt stops the egg breaking while you're boiling it. So I always put some salt in. I don't know if that's true.
Well, does it work?
It usually, sometimes it breaks, but usually it doesn't. So if you're watching this and you believe there's a scientific reason why salt in the water stops an egg breaking when you boil it, I'd like to know if my grandmother was actually telling me the truth or maybe joking with me. So I don't know.
Okay, your turn.
Yeah, because of the podcast, one device I bought years ago and I absolutely adore, I absolutely love, is this, which is, it's only a small device, but again, it's very versatile. It's a portable audio recorder for recording audio. Now, yes, you can record audio with your mobile phone. And these days, smartphones have very good microphones. But this device enables you to put 4 microphones separately in there. And obviously, you'll get better sound with higher quality microphone. You can adjust the levels. And there's loads of menus in there to make it sound better, bass, different things you can adjust to make it sound really good. And you can also add more attachments on here, other microphones. And I just take it with me when I record in the school, when I record students in the classroom. I use it here when we record the podcast. It's never failed me. It's never let me down. There's that phrasal verb, to let you down, deception. It's never let me down. It's very, very reliable. And it's a gadget I absolutely could not do without when I'm recording audio.
How long have you had that?
I've had it for so long that it had rubber on the outside, and the rubber with the salt air, because I live near the beach in Valencia, so the salt air has destroyed all of the rubber. And I think it's probably 8 years old now, 7, 8 years old. And I use it every week. It
looks very techy. Yeah.
It's easy to use. It's very easy to use.
Craig, we've caused a bit of confusion, I think. Some people are writing in about the egg pricker, because apparently on the subtitles, Monica saw egg cracker. But
egg cracker?
Yeah, but we didn't put egg cracker, did we?
Let me check. Maybe she's right. Egg pricker.
Pricker. And then somebody else asked, Monica also asked, what does it mean to prick? Well, to prick is when you have a very, very sharp needle, and if you prick your finger and a tiny bit of blood comes out. In that famous fairy tale, I don't know if you remember the fairy tale. What is the Sleeping Beauty? In the fairy tale of Sleeping Beauty, where the princess, I think what she's doing, she's spinning wool, isn't she? And she pricks her finger, and then she falls into a sleep for 1,000 years or whatever. I can't remember everything of that. And also, of course, now in COVID, with COVID-19, many people are getting tests to see if they have any antibodies. And it's been on the television here, and you see them. There's a test that they have where they take a needle, like the one that's in here, and they just prick the finger, and they take 1 drop of your blood. So to prick something is what you do when you have a very, very sharp point and it pricks your skin. Right.
And sometimes when you go to the hospital or the clinic to have a blood test or to give blood, the nurse might say to you, don't worry, it's just a little prick. It's just a little prick in your skin. So here it's used as a noun, but the verb to prick is to pierce, make a hole with a very, very small needle.
And also in the garden, can't you? You can prick your finger on a rose, on a flower that has a thorn. You might prick your finger and hurt yourself.
Ever was confused with pelador, which is the verb you use when you were speaking about the egg.
To peel the egg.
Peel. So pelador is a peeler, like a potato peeler, a vegetable peeler, and the verb is to peel.
To peel, yes.
P-E-E-R. Joss says that in my country, we actually do not know these devices. The only egg I know is to egg myself on. Very good. That's
very good. Right. And you better explain to people what egg myself on is, because they might not know. That's
isn't it to encourage someone? Isn't it to animar? Like animar. To egg someone. Come on, you can do it. Come on, let's go. Egg yourself on.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's a strange word as well. It's a very strange phrasal verb, to egg somebody on. Okay, my turn now, yeah? Is it?
Yes.
Next one. Now, I bet you don't know this one either, do you?
I know. No, I've never seen one, but I think I know what it does. I think I know what the device does.
Are you going to put the word up for everybody? There we go. So a fringe or a bangs cutter.
Here.
Now, your fringe is this. In British English, we call this flequillo. We call it a fringe. And in American English, it's called bangs. Which is a really strange word. I don't know why the Americans call it bangs, because bang is normally a loud noise, isn't it? Bang. Yeah. Okay. And I've got children, and when they were little, my girls all had fringes, and their hair used to grow so fast. And I used to cut it myself because I was trying to save money and not take them to the hairdressers just for the fringe. And my daughters hated me because we have pictures of my daughters when they were little, and their fringes were always like half up and half down, because they would never stay straight. I would say, stand still while I'm cutting, and they would never stand still. And they used to be so frightened that they used to tense their faces, so they would go like this. And because they had their heads like this, their forehead became shorter. So I would cut the fringe, and then when they relaxed, their fringe was up here.
I'd love to see those photos.
Yeah, until I found this wonderful gadget, right? And this gadget basically is, you put it like this, you pull it down, it keeps the fringe. Sorry, I can't do it because my fringe isn't straight, but you put it down like this, and then you get the scissors.
Cut it.
And you cut like that, and then you get a straight line. You see, this come down as a straight line. But I don't cut my fringe. I go to the hairdressers.
That's a wonderful.
But if anybody has children, this is what you need if you don't want to ruin your children's hair.
I think that's my favorite so far. I really, really like that.
Right, your turn. What's yours?
Oh, this is something that most of you have probably got in your kitchens, in your houses, and I'm sure you've seen this before. Do you know what this is called? How do you say ajo in English? You put the ajo in there, and then you press. So it's actually called a garlic press. And the reason I like this so much is that one thing I don't like when I'm cutting garlic with a knife is afterwards your fingers really smell of garlic. And I love garlic, but I don't really like to smell it 1 hour after I've eaten. So very simple, garlic press. It's a fantastic little device and very useful, very handy. Everyone should have a garlic press in their kitchen. I think.
that is a good one. I have that one too. Okay. Next one. I wonder if anybody knows what this is and what this does. You press it like this. Any ideas? It's called a staple remover, but does anybody know what it does? Do you know what that means? Okay, so on your papers in the corners, I don't know if you can see that, you have these little metal things. That's called a staple. Yeah, it comes from a stapler, right? And if you want to take it out, you can take it with your fingers, but then you prick your fingers, don't you? And you damage your nails and you prick your fingers. So you have this handy dandy little gadget, which is called a staple remover. Oops, until I demonstrate.
Yes.
You put it in here and you squeeze and out comes a staple. Look at that.
Magic.
My nails stay perfect.
When I saw that, Lynn, on your list, I thought, I had a staple remover. I have no idea where it is because so much now is digitalized.
Yeah.
Which connects to my final must-have. And I can't remember the last time I needed to take a staple out because I don't work with much paper anymore. Do you work with a lot of paper? Do you use that?
Yeah,
you do.
I do. I have to say, I'm a bit old-fashioned.
Yeah, Sindo said it's Kitagrapa's staple remover. Well done. Well done, Sindo.
Well done. Well done. Okay.
Well, my final device, gadget, appliance. I'm not.
Big one for a gadget. It's a bit big.
It's probably it's probably an appliance, actually, I would say, and I can't really show it to you because I'm using it now, and it's this computer, the computer that I use to do my work, and I use it every day for hours every day. I don't know how I'd be able to do my work without it. I would not be talking to you now if I didn't have a desktop computer. And together with the mobile phone, it's just made it so much easier to do teaching, to create materials, to do the podcast, to edit the podcast. Everything is around the use of the computer. So that for me is a must-have appliance, something I could not do without.
Craig, do you usually call it desktop computer? I know that that's the proper word, but I don't think I usually call it a desktop computer. I would say a PC. Would you or not?
I was going to say PC, but then and if I speak about it in spoken English, I would say PC or my computer. But so many people have laptop computers.
Yes,
and I wanted to differentiate, to make a difference between the laptop and the desktop. The laptop sits on your lap, it's the portátil, and the desktop is bigger with a bigger screen and a separate keyboard. Yeah. And also when I do security copies, because you must have at least one copy of all of your photos and your data. Please remember that. So when I make copies, then I have to specify desktop computer when I do the copy so that I know it's copying information from this computer. Yeah.
I've just seen from the chats, from the comments, Craig, somebody, Alejandra, wants us to pronounce stapler, and staple. Yeah. Now it's a little bit, it sounds a bit strange because between the P and the L, we have that schwa sound. We kind of put another vowel in there. Stapler, stapler, stapler and staple. All the words that end in LE are often pronounced ul. For example, bottle. Yeah. So that LE, we pronounce it. If you were to write it, you would probably write it EL, but English spelling is very difficult. So the LE, staple, it's EL. Okay.
Yeah, and the vowel sound you need for that A is A, the same as in words like stay or way or day. So it's staple, stapler.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, right, my last one. Now, I feel very bad now because you've got really, really useful devices like your desktop computer that are essential for your life. And I'm obviously the house.
I have no idea what this is. I have no idea what this does, what this
It's
is.
because I was going for like smaller things, because I was thinking gadgets. I wasn't really thinking of like big appliances, right? So this is, I wonder if anybody knows what this is.
Shall I put the word up?
It makes a noise. You can hear the noise first. Can you? Anybody know?
Shall I show them?
I think so. I think it was going to be different. Right. This is an electric lint remover.
What is lint?
What is lint? So on your cloth, on your material, on your clothes, sometimes, especially if the clothing is synthetic or if it's wool, sometimes the more you wash it, you get little tiny balls of lint, right? Now, this is where the material, the fabric, forms itself into a little ball. Often on wool jerseys, or pullovers, you get little balls. And then, of course, it spoils it because it looks old and it's not very nice, you see. Or if you have flannelette sheets for the bed, and they get full of all of those little balls, it's very uncomfortable when you're in bed. Yeah. So you have to have this handy dandy lint remover. And this is like it's kind of like an electric shaver, but you don't use it on your face. You use it on your clothes. And then it kind of cuts off all of those little balls, the little balls of cloth. Then you can remove this and then you empty it in the bin. Okay, there's a ball from my last lint removal session.
Is that another device from Germany?
No, well, no, actually. Now these things have been around for many, many years, but it's
never seen it before.
I know, because you could only buy them. My mum bought one years ago, like 30, 40 years ago, and she got it through mail order catalogs. You know, they were only sold on special like mail catalogs. Look at this wonderful device. And she bought them for me and my sister when we went away to college. And I always wanted one. And the thing is, they break, they don't last forever. And it's very difficult to find them. But I am beginning to find them here now. They come into Lidl or to Aldi every now and again. And then I buy another one for the future.
Very interesting. I like that very much. Okay, so those are our top 10 things we can't do without. And now we're going to look at 10 more that have been disappointing and really bad and rubbish and useless. So really negative devices. Before we do that, though, we'd like to invite you to come in and join us if you'd like to and speak about your devices or something that you find really useful. So I'm going to put a link in the chat room here. And if you want to come in with us, all you need to do is follow that link, put that link in your browser. It works well in Chrome and in Firefox. And then we'll bring you in to speak with us. All you need is a webcam and a microphone. But if you don't really want us to see you, if you want to hide your webcam, that's fine. You can turn off your webcam and just have audio. So come in and say hi, say hello, and tell us what gadgets you really like. It'd be really nice to speak to you. Mm-hmm. So let's continue, Lynn, with biggest disappointments.
Rubbish. Now, this was problematic for me because I had a big clean out recently and I threw away all these things because they're so bad. So some of them we've only got pictures for, right? Here's my latest. I haven't thrown this away yet. This is my latest rubbish gadget, right?
What is it?
This is a tea bag saucer. Or it's a cooking spoon holder. Now, it's really useless. It's very useless. The idea is I drink a lot of tea because I'm British and I love drinking tea. So I have about 6 or 7 cups of tea a day. And because I tend to make, it's not very sort of elegant, but I tend to make my tea in my cup. So I put my tea bag in my cup, I put boiling water on it, and then I let it brew. And then you have to take the tea bag out. Now, usually when you take it out, you're aiming for the rubbish bin. But on the way,
drips everywhere. Yeah,
exactly.
Drips.
See, so when I saw this, I thought, this is wonderful. I'm going to have this next to the kettle, and every time I make my tea, I'm going to take my tea bag out and put it in there, and then afterwards you take this off, you empty it in the bin, and you can put it in the dishwasher. Wonderful. The problem is I'm too old, and I have over 50 years of experience of taking my tea bag out and putting it in the bin. So although it's next to the kettle, I ignore it. I just don't see it. And so I continue to drip on the way to the bin. And this has been sitting in my kitchen for the last year, and it's never been used.
So why haven't you thrown it away yet?
I don't know. I'm going to throw it away after this program, right? After this program, I'm not putting it back in the kitchen.
What you could do, Lynne, is to change its use, and you could put some incense in the top, liquid incense with a candle underneath. And that will have a lovely fragrance in your office.
That's another piece of junk. I don't want that. I don't want more junk. No.
My sister has one of those. She has a tea bag saucer that she uses. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's just habit, you see, after so many years not doing it like that, because it's a silly thing. I mean, it was a very practical idea, but it's just, I just can't get used to it.
Okay, well, we've got some photo. I think I'll go out of order because I'll leave the photographs until last. So one disappointing thing for me, and I don't actually have them to show you, but these aren't the actual ones I'm disappointed with, but just to show you the kind of thing, these small Bluetooth earphones that pair with your mobile phone so you can listen to music and podcasts. I bought a cheap pair, and they lasted maybe 6 months, and then the left one stopped working. And there was no guarantee. It was something from China. It was very cheap. So I threw them away. But speaking of vocabulary, just to make a difference between these small earphones that go in your ear and these bigger headphones that go on your head. So the big ones that cover your ear are called headphones, and these smaller ones that go in your ear are called earphones. So I was disappointed recently with earphones that I bought, and they just stopped working.
And sometimes with Bluetooth earphones or headset, sometimes they can get interference. I notice that if my microwave is on in the kitchen, then I get a lot of interference in them.
And you can hear the taxi drivers calling from the radio outside.
Not yet. I haven't had the taxi drivers, but there is interference, and I live in a flat, and if somebody else, my neighbor, has the microwave on and I'm close to the wall, then it also causes interference. But I actually don't like earphones. I prefer headset. I don't like the feeling of that thing in my ear. The earbud is called, isn't it, sometimes?
What's your second disappointing thing?
Do you want the picture ones, or do you want?
Can we save the pictures till last so it'll be easier to share the screen with all the pictures together?
Look at this. This is semi-automatic. If I just remember how to work it, watch.
Wow, what is it?
So this is supposed to. It's a little light. Unfortunately, I've had it a long time sitting in my drawer because I don't use it, and the battery is gone. But this is a little halogen lamp. And what you're supposed to do is, in your book, you stick it in here, and then you can read if you haven't got any light. Right? And at first I thought, this is wonderful. I can read in the car when my husband's driving. You know, when it's dark and you read in the car, but you can't have the light on in the car. It's against the law. So I thought this would be wonderful. But in actual fact, whenever I need it, I haven't got it. It's in the drawer at home. And then I thought, what a piece of rubbish. So this is also going in the bin. I can use this once to put this in so that it goes in the bin together.
So you're throwing both of those away?
I'm
They're rubbish.
Both of them away, yeah.
Okay.
Throwing both of them away.
To remind you, if you want to come in and say hello, this is the link you need to join us on Facebook. So come and jump in, say hello, and tell us about your favorite gadgets or disappointing gadgets. One that's been quite disappointing for me, and it took me a long time to actually buy this device. It's an electric shaver, because all of my life I've shaved with shaving foam and a razor, a wet shave, as we say, a wet shave. And I thought, well, I'll try buying a shaver, because the blades are so expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, blades now to buy for a wet shave are something like 11, 12 euros for 5. And that's really expensive. So I thought, well, if I use this, but it doesn't give the same kind of shave. It doesn't shave you close enough. And especially in the summer when I'm always like sweaty, that's why I use the fan. I don't like shaving. I much prefer a wet shave, especially in the summer. So I do use this, but not every day. I thought I would use it regularly, and I've been quite disappointed because it's not as effective as I thought it would be. Does your husband use a wet shave or an electric razor?
He hates electric shavers.
For the same reason, yeah?
Yeah, and I know that the razors cost, the blades cost a lot of money, because I'm usually the one shopping for
buying them, yeah.
Yeah, and my dad was the same. My dad hated an electric shaver.
My dad too.
But when he got older, it was he had more problems. I think when your skin is older, he cut himself quite a lot with a normal razor. So in the latter years of his life, he used an electric shaver because it was safer, so that he didn't nick himself or prick himself.
And there's another thing, because I'm getting older and my skin's a bit looser now. It doesn't really shave. It doesn't shave any of my chins. It doesn't shave any of my chins. I've got so many, but it doesn't shave the neck. So I can shave my face, and then there's all hair around here that I have to shave with the razor anyway.
I wish
Useless.
I could sympathize with you, but unfortunately I don't shave.
What's your next one, Lynn?
Okay, all right. Well,
before your next one, Antonio thinks that your clip-on book light is the gadget he likes the most. So
wow. It's a pity you didn't live in Spain, Antonio. Otherwise, I would give it to you before I throw it away. Yeah, to be able to read in bed while your partner's sleeping. That's true. Ava's just said that. But you see, the problem is, Ava, is it's quite bulky. And when you have to keep clipping it every time you change the page. So I think I would probably wake my husband up with all the rustling, you know. So
do you have an ebook reader?
No,
that's a handy gadget.
Yes, No, I'm not.
Mention that to your husband when it's your birthday coming up. You might get one.
Yeah. No, I don't want any more rubbish. No
gadgets. No more gadgets.
Right, here's a very old-fashioned one. Do you know what those are? What are they, Craig?
Bookmarks.
I don't know about you, but people always give me bookmarks. I get bookmarks all the time. Alejandra's saying bookmarkers, but not bookmarkers, bookmarks. Yeah, a marker is actually a marker pen. Yeah, so don't say ER on the end. Don't say marker. You say bookmark. Yeah, bookmark. And people give me bookmarks, and they are pretty, you know. But again, it's because I'm very lazy. just like with the tea bags. So this is me. I'm in bed with my book. If it's a nice book, it might have this, which is great. That's my bookmark, right? And when it hasn't got that, I just turn the pages at the top.
Oh, but that ruins the book, though, Lynne. That ruins the book. You can't turn the pages.
You're a purist, aren't you? You see, I'm not. I'm a Philistine.
And when you do turn the corner of the book, it's got a lovely name. It's dog ear. So if you have a book that's full of those folds at the top of the page, it's dog-eared. It's a dog-eared book. It's well used.
All of my books are dog-eared. All of them. But that's what gives a book personality, you see. And I never have them. Yeah.
I use Post-it notes as bookmarks because you can also write notes on them if you see something interesting. And then when you close the book, you just stick it to the next page, and it doesn't damage the book.
Yeah.
Post-it notes.
I think Alejandro says no. So
yeah, I agree with Alejandra. You can't. Yeah.
Is that a response to me turning the pages on the books?
Emma said, I really like bookmarks.
Yeah.
So,
okay, what about you? Have you got another one?
I have got another one to show you. I think this is the last one physically I have to show you. And it's again connected to the computer. And it's this. Have you any idea what this is used for? Again, USB connector, little brush on there.
That looks like it's an electric razor for the computer or something.
Not exactly. I'm not sure if I can turn it on. I don't need to turn it on. So this is a keyboard vacuum. So if you get a keyboard that's full of biscuits and crisps and pieces of sandwich, then you brush that, you connect it to the USB, and as like a proper vacuum cleaner, you've even got a attachment that you can vacuum off the crumbs and the dirt from your keyboard. The problem is,
who gave you that? Did you buy that for yourself?
Actually, it belongs to my wife. My wife got this somewhere, so she. But the problem is, and I have tried it, it's too weak. It doesn't have enough vacuum power. It doesn't suck enough. So it doesn't really clean the keyboard. So what I prefer to use to clean the keyboard is just this compressed air that you just do this. And that gets away the dust and the crumbs and the biscuits from the keyboard. But this is completely useless. It's a useless gadget because it's not strong enough to vacuum the dirt from the keyboard.
Do you know what you can do as well, Craig? Shaky.
Yeah, but sometimes those pieces of sandwiches and the ham get stuck under. You can't get it.
Eat at work. It's not good for you. I don't eat at the computer.
Okay, you're right. You're absolutely right. What's your next one?
Well, I think I need the picture for this one. And
okay.
This one is truly useless. It's the biggest piece, or the littlest piece, because it's not big. It's the smallest piece of junk, right? I could use a stronger word, but I won't. But it's a useless gadget. And I have received this because for some reason people like to give it to me as a present.
Can I stop you for a second, Lynne? Because Alejandra wants to come in and say hi. So maybe we can go back to that after a while. Let's bring in Alejandra.
Hi, Alejandra.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Fine.
Where are you speaking from?
From Cádiz.
From Cádiz.
Mm-hmm.
Is it hot down there?
Not now, but during the whole day, yes, it was. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So have you got a favorite gadget or device, Alejandra?
Yes, and I took it directly from my kitchen to here. Probably it's very common, but it wasn't that common here in Spain like a few years ago, I think. So maybe you can give me your ideas.
Okay, I'm curious already.
Ah, it's a kettle.
It's a kettle. It's a kettle.
Or a water boiler or something like that.
No, a kettle.
Kettle.
Kettle. Uh-huh.
But
An electric kettle.
electric kettle. Okay.
Yeah, that is a godsend, Alejandra. I can't live. When I go on holiday, I take my kettle with me.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
In a suitcase?
Yeah, no, for my tea, to make my tea. Well, in the car, if we go to an apartment in Spain, we always take the kettle with us so that I can make my cups of tea. Mm-hmm.
So, Alejandra, are you more a tea drinker than a coffee drinker? Because many Spanish people prefer to drink coffee.
That's why I took this, because we didn't used to have this in the past because we are not tea drinkers.
Yes.
We prefer coffee. But now we use it for everything. Now, I mean, you couldn't find it in the stores in the past. And once you got one, you saw it was cheap. You get one, and then you boil water for everything. For tea, for coffee, for pasta, for whatever you need.
And what would be the name in Spanish for that? How would you call it in Spanish?
No sé.
Calientador de agua.
No, I think they call it, don't they say hervidor de agua?
Un hervidor.
Hervidor.
Hervidor. Hervidor. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I agree with you, Alejandra. It's a must-have. A must-have.
I realized that in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So I use it every day. So
you're already very British.
Yeah, but I drink Japanese tea.
Oh.
I prefer Japanese tea.
Green tea.
Nice. Green tea is nice. That's right too. Great.
Okay, well, thank you. Do you want to share any other gadgets, or was it just one gadget?
No, it's just to tell you that I just landed here. I've known you in the past as La Mansión del Inglés and so on, but I've never seen your videos, and just by chance I was on Facebook, I found you, and it was something quick, like, okay, I want to participate, like really quick.
Well, thank you very much. It's lovely talking to you. Thanks for coming in and joining us.
Yeah, and I love hearing you, and I learn a lot, and thank you very much to you.
You're welcome. And we hopefully will be doing this regularly now every week. So hope to see you again next time.
Yeah, I'm sure of that.
Okay. I'm going to remove you if anybody else wants to come in and share their gadget like Alejandra. So thanks, Alejandra. See you soon. Bye-bye. So yeah, if you want to join, come on in. There's the link up there. And Lynn, I interrupted you. You were sharing something that disappointed you.
Well, this is the last one because it's a disappointment, a big disappointment. So it's a small thing, and people, for some reason, give it to me as presents. And also, when you go to a wedding, I've been to weddings here, and they've given this gift to the women as a wedding gift. Now, you better show the picture, because I had 3 or 4 and I threw them all away a few months ago. So I haven't actually got one here to show you.
Okay.
You show the picture.
Let me try and find it. Just a second. That's it. Yeah. Can you see that?
So you have to look quite closely.
Is it very small?
They're sort of about this big, like the size of a big coin. Yeah. And they look very pretty. They've got jewels in them and diamonds. And then around the edge, it twists off, and you can put it on a bar or on a table, and it's a little hook. And what you're supposed to do with it is hang your handbag on it in a restaurant or a bar. Right?
Oh dear.
So it's like to hang the bag on the table, you know?
Why can't you put it on the floor?
Well, apparently that brings bad luck. Somebody told me that handbags on floors bring bad luck. No, but it's not very safe. But quite frankly, I mean, it's just a piece of junk for me because, you know, I'm a busy person. I'm a mum as well. Once you've been a mum, your handbag has got loads of rubbish in it anyway, like clothes pegs and other things. So the last thing I need is more rubbish. And when I go to a bar, the last thing that's on my mind is to get out a little hook to hang my handbag on. I just say, give me a beer. I want my beer. So I don't know who invented them. And for any friends out there, please don't buy me anymore. I don't want one.
Okay, well, I'm going to share a picture of something that I first saw years and years and years ago. Back in the 1980s, at home, my parents used to do roast dinners. They cooked roast dinners on a Sunday. And if we had a roast turkey, for example, my dad would stand at the end of the table and with the turkey in front of him, and he would take out something called an electric carving knife. And this is what it looks like. So the carving knife, if you can see this, is, whoops, that's not it. That's it. It's quite big, and it has a cable and sometimes they're battery, but back in the 1980s, it had a big cable. And those two blades moved backwards and forwards really, really quickly. And the idea was to cut or carve, we say C-A-R-V-E, to carve the meat, to carve the turkey. But it didn't work. It shredded the turkey into little tiny pieces, and the turkey used to fly all over the room and hit you in the face. And my dad couldn't control it. So the knife was doing this and he was dancing with it. And it was a complete disaster. So that was the electric carving knife.
Can I confess something to you?
You have one, don't you? You've got one in the kitchen.
I have one and I love it. It nearly made my must-have list.
Yes, but when did you buy it?
Exactly like that, in the 1980s. That one was never programmed obsolescence because it still works. Your problem with the turkey is that
my dad.
Well, possibly as well. But the problem is it has two different types of blades. Well, mine came with two different sets of blades. And one had quite big serrations in it. You know how they kind of up and down the curves. One has big ones and the other set of blades has small ones. And so when you like shred everything and it turns out a mess, it's probably because you've got the wrong blade on the knife.
Okay, that's the reason. Okay.
But I use it and I usually use it for meat. That's it.
Well, I'm pleased it works for you. It never worked for our family. So
what's that phrase, Craig? Because I've got a phrase on the tip of my tongue.
What does that mean?
On
the tip of your tongue.
It means when you can remember something, but you can't remember all the words. So there's a saying in English, and I can't remember it all. I only got the last bit of it. One man's something is another man's poison. Do you know that one?
No. It's familiar, but I can't remember exactly what the phrase is.
I'll have to find it next week, and then we can tell people later, or you can put it up with the notes of the thing. What it means
it now.
Phrase is that you obviously hate the electric carving knife, but I love it. And for you, the electric carving knife is poison. And for me, I just can't remember the word.
I've got it. One man's meat, which is very, very apt, very appropriate. It's one man's meat is another man's poison.
There you are. That's it.
Yeah,
that's
the expression.
It was on the tip of my tongue and I couldn't remember how it started. And that means, for me, the electric carving knife is fantastic, but for you, it's poison. It's veneno. Mm-hmm.
And Alejandra says one man's trash is another man's treasure. Yeah, very good.
Never heard that one before, but that was nice.
And Eva said, what about the device to keep the knife afilado, which is sharpened? Sharp is afilado. And to sharpen something is the verb to make it sharp. What do you do to sharpen it, Lynn?
A knife sharpener. There's a little device. I've got it in my kitchen as well. A knife sharpener.
A knife sharpener. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Antonio's leaving us, because we've gone over the hour. So thanks for being with us, Antonio. See you again soon.
Yeah, bye-bye, Antonio. Thank you.
What do you think? Should we do one more, Lynn, and then call it a day?
I think so. Or maybe, I mean, my last one is a silly one as well.
What is it?
So mine is a torch, but it's not, of course, a torch is a very, very useful device. Yeah. The torch that I hate is this one. And if you can bring up the, no.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
It's coming. It's a wind-up torch.
No, I don't think I have it, actually.
Oh, you did show me it earlier.
Did I?
A wind-up torch. And basically, it's a torch which usually has a battery in it, and it gives you light. And then a few years ago, they invented a torch. There it is. And that little handle, you wind it up. It's a dynamo. And then you don't need a battery, and you have the torch. And I go camping a lot, and I thought, this is a wonderful invention. Until I had one. And I got up at the camp where I go to. If you want to get up in the evening, in the middle of the night to go to the toilets, you have quite a long walk in a very, very dark field. And I would get up in the night and I would put my torch on to find my way through the field to the toilets. And the thing just didn't last. So you were having to wind it up all the time to get a little bit of light. And all the other people on the campsite could only hear the noise of, and it woke everybody up. So they didn't like me with the wind-up torch. I don't like the wind-up torch now. I mean, we have batteries, so why don't we use batteries when we can? Yeah. Craig, I think I've lost you. So there you are. I obviously killed Craig with my wind-up torch story. Right. Now, I see a few people having to go. Night to you too. And I know that the people who are in South America, it's lunchtime, so many of you are maybe going back to work again. Alejandro says you could do biceps. Yes, it would probably be very good for me to do that with the wind-up torch. It would be good for my muscles. Here's Craig again.
Thank you. I don't know what happened, but I just...
It was the wind-up torch. It just shocked you so much that you disappeared.
Do you know you can always get wind-up? You can also get wind-up radios as well. I've seen those.
Yeah. No, I mean, they are clever ideas for countries that don't have access to batteries or to electricity. I mean, it's very useful. But I think here, if you're going to a campsite in Europe, for example, it's a bit of a gadget. It's a bit useless, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
You know, a bit of a gadget. Yeah. It's a clever device, but it's a gadget.
I think we'll over time, so I think we'll leave it there. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you ever so much for watching. Just to remind you before we go that I'm Craig from mansioningles.com. If you want to go and use our free material and courses over there, you're very welcome. And also listen to our podcast every Sunday. Funny enough, last Sunday we spoke about game changer and game changing things. So that's quite interesting. You mentioned it. And Lynn, what can people find on your website, putitlikethis.com?
Okay. Well, I'm an online teacher and I work for myself, and my company is called Put It Like This. And I try to help people to express themselves the way they really want to express themselves, to help them express their own personalities in the second language, which is difficult. You know, you have your own personality in your native language, and when you often are using a second language, sometimes it's hard to get your own personality across. And so that's really my objective. But I do all sorts of courses if you want to learn how to express yourself better in writing or in speaking. And I also do phonology courses and courses for teachers who teach in English, even though it's not their own language. Okay.
So go and check out Lynne's website, and hopefully we'll be back again very soon. So keep watching Facebook, keep watching Twitter, and we'll let you know next time we come on and speak to you. So we'll say goodbye. Have a good evening.
And thanks very much to Alejandra, who was so brave to come on and speak. That was wonderful, wasn't it?
Yeah, thank you, Alejandra. And next time as well, we hope more of you will come in and practice your English and speak with us. So we'll see you soon. Stay safe, be careful out there, and thanks for joining.
All right then. Bye.